Well, this video series is drawing to an end, where we work out what it might look like if all of the original Digimon Adventure 1999 partners used crests to Digivolve outside of the crest they were assigned. Remember, it's all just a little bit of fun, but we've got no actual evidence that the crests would impact different elements of evolutions. They do have traits that are observable in the various Digimon. And so today is the turn of Ikkakumon, to explore what it might look like if Ikkakumon used all of the original 8 crests from Digimon Adventure to achieve new evolutions. What is up, digital companions? My name is Karn EX and welcome back to another video, and yet it's Ikkakumon's turn! And remember, what we're going for here is just a fun what if, like I said in the intro. You can kind of assign elements and attributes to the crest. For example, if we look at the Crest of Courage in the original adventure, it accesses more powerful metallic dinosaur forms that also draw from fiery powers, like the Gaia Force of Warhammer. And that is doubled down upon in Digimon Adventure 02, where the power that Vmon gets from the Digi-Egg of Courage is those flame and dinosaur elements from the Agumon evolution line, which also means we're evolving the champion specifically here because it is the champion that uses the crest in Digimon Adventure the original season. And originally Ikkakumon was assigned the Crest of Reliability, gaining much more aquatic and warrior vibes, becoming, god, that's such a great Warhammer, isn't it? Wow, Zudomon looks so cool. Hey, that reminds me, today's video is sponsored by the also very cool Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus. Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus is an exciting turn-based tactical strategy game set in the eternal conflict of Games Workshop's Warhammer 40,000 universe. In Tacticus, you bring some of the universe's most powerful warriors to lightning-fast tactical skirmishes where you are in full control and only superior tactics can deliver victory. Expand your collection across multiple factions to find new tactical possibilities as you bring your troops to battle and sweep the galaxy clear of all resistance. I was over the moon when Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus reached out to me because my stepdad is such a big Warhammer guy. I grew up surrounded by Warhammer 40,000. So for everything to come full circle and get to check out Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus was insane to me. I just started playing the game and I am already enjoying the hell out of it. And that's because it is designed so that new players and grizzled fans of the Warhammer universe alike will find challenge in Tacticus as they progress and compete in various game modes, including PvE campaigns, PvP, live events, guild raids, and much more. If this sounds good to you, which it does to me, you can check out the link in the description down below or the QR code that is on screen right now to go and get Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus downloaded to your device. Since the game released back in August 2022, Snowprint Studios has kept introducing fresh content and has a whole roadmap planned for the future, which looks very exciting. And make sure when you do sign up with my link in the description down below or that QR code that you use the code NOVHELLO to claim 2,000 gold and 50 Blackstone exclusively for you until December 1st. I'm going to try and put the game away now so I can do the rest of the video, but thank you so much to Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus for sponsoring this video. Alright, so we begin with the Crest of Courage, and again, as I said in the intro, we're going to be looking for some more dinosaurish or dragon elements if we can get them, or just a focus on that fire. I think Ikkakumon presents an interesting opportunity because it is such a furry, large creature. So I like the idea of trying to preserve the fur of Ikkakumon when we explore the different themes of the crests. And in this instance, I'm not going to go as hard on the dinosaur and dragon elements and instead think a really good evolution for Ikkakumon with the Crest of Courage would be Flaremon and Apollomon. I've not really used them in these videos as far as I'm aware. If I have used Digimon in this video, I think I have used a couple of them as we go down the list. We're just running out of Digimon at this point, and I think I'd rather go for a better cohesive pick than not cross the streams. Also, if they're all the same party sharing the pool of crests that they have, I think it's okay actually. I think it actually thematically makes sense that there would be some crossover. I just think this line makes a ton of sense. The big furry Ikkakumon kind of becoming more humanoid as it evolves, still keeping its animalistic side and gaining the fire of courage. The Crest of Friendship initially results in the more werewolfy form of Were-Garurumon and ultimately settles into the ice and metal elements of Metal Garurumon, which does line up reasonably well actually with Ikkakumon as a land and sea creature and its eventual evolutions, Zudomon, Vaikmon, and Plesiomon, but it's tough to really say how I would go specifically with Friendship here to distinguish it from regular Ikkakumon. Funnily enough, the Leomon variant Pangeamon, which just looks like a ice version of Leomon, is actually treated as an ultimate level. And I don't think this is a bad evolution for Ikkakumon at all. If we look at Digimon Adventure, for example, we have the much larger Togemon shrinking shrinking down to Lilymon. So it's not like Digimon's scale can't change through evolution. This kind of ice lion, while not a perfect lineup with the ice wolves and fox fire wolves of Garurumon, I still think is a good pick. But another one I did consider taking on the more aquatic elements of Ikkakumon and the bestial nature of Ikkakumon and adding in Garurumon elements is Splashmon Darkness Mode, because it straight up looks like a bigger, more rounded Garurumon, and it is an ultimate level. I really like this one, even though of course Splashmon Darkness Mode presents a little bit more evil looking. It's a virus type, it's part of the big Death Stars. I still think it works pretty great, and I would like to use it here. Creepy and freaky looking Digimon can be the cutest and most loving partner Digimon. That's kind of the whole thing with Digimon a lot of the time. So I think I'm going to use Splashmon Darkness Mode here. The Mega then, it's a little bit more tricky than I was expecting. My initial pick of Pangeamon was set us up really nicely to have the Mega be Saberleomon. But of course we do lose all the ice elements there, which I'm not super fond of. However, Ikkakumon does have these very noticeable tusks, which it would gain back as Saberleomon. And that's kind of, funnily enough, a theme that would be true of the Garurumon evolution with the crest. Garurumon goes from quadrupedal to bipedal to back to quadrupedal. In this instance, Ikkakumon would go from having tusks to not having tusks with either of the evolutions I chose, and then back to having tusks. Kind of fun. I was also considering things like Ancient Mega Theriamon, but I just can't really make the link to friendship there or the Garurumon family. So I'm going to go Splashmon Darkness Mode and Saberleomon. Super random evolution, but at least it has that more quadruped bestial vibe, and you can see how Saberleomon could be a rideable Digimon just like Metal Garurumon. Let me know your picks in the comments down below though. I'm sure there's something I've missed here. The Crest of Love has elements of birds and flying, but also fire and phoenixes. However, I wanted to compromise the element of bird-like Digimon with that more aquatic side to Ikkakumon, which is why of course it makes perfect sense that Ikkakumon with the Crest of Love would become Hwankunmon and Shongpongmon. They are literally a merging of fish and bird. It's perfect. You can even think that the marching fishes data from within Gomamon eventually reconfigured into Ikkakumon with the Crest of Love, getting these much more fish and bird-like evolutions. I can even see how the whites of the feathers and fog of Shongpongmon can call back to Ikkakumon, similarly to how Ikkakumon loses its white fur as Zudomon and then becomes white again as Vaikmon, and I guess even Plesiomon. Shongpongmon even has a similar body composition to Plesiomon if you kind of squint. The Crest of Sincerity was really my first stopping point in this video. In Digimon Adventure, we get Lilymon and Rosemon, very feminine, plant-life fairy Digimon. In 02, it manifests as Shurimon, the traditional Japanese ninja. I couldn't find a way to really make Ikkakumon with the Crest of Sincerity work, so my suggestions are these. First of all, Ikkakumon becoming Gilly-Dumon. It retains its horn, kind of, a different set of horns, but still it has horns, and it becoming more of a kind of humanoid grass Digimon works whether you're looking at the Lilymon side or the Shurimon side. For a Mega then, well, a Bonwumon actually I think would be quite a good Mega for Ikkakumon with the Crest of Sincerity, but I'm a little bit averse to using Sovereign here just because they are characters in the Digimon Adventure universe. I think it would be fine to use a Bonwumon though. So my compromise is Eldradimon, which is a big world turtle with a bunch of grass on its back. I can 100% see something like Ikkakumon eventually becoming Eldradimon. And if you don't like Gilly-Dumon as the kind of bridging gap between those two, I think Petaldramon, which I think I have used before in these videos, would also be absolutely fine here. Gilly-Dumon does have the horn from Ikkakumon, or at least some horn-like protrusions, but Petaldramon I can kind of see working more on a scale, and maybe the fur turning into the plant life. It being covered in this grass I think is a nice transition from Ikkakumon, and you could even maybe say that these kind of like swirling branches coming out the top could be also the Ikkakumon horn. The Crest of Knowledge has been our biggest struggle in these videos. First of all, there's actually weirdly not enough bug Digimon for certain requirements, and the Crest of Knowledge is very hardcore on bugs in the original evolutions. When we look at Digimon Adventure 02, we have a little bit more leeway. We have Digmon, whose element it gets from the Crest of Knowledge is Earth. Because we don't get a ton of elements added, just kind of doubling down on bugs and electricity, I instead try to find a way to just compromise the Kabuterimon evolutions with the Ikkakumon horn, which is when it became very obvious to me that yeah, a lot of beetles have these big horns. So to me, I think Ikkakumon to Rhino Kabuterimon and then Ancient Beetlemon, all with these big horns with the Crest of Knowledge, makes a ton of sense to me, and the body types aren't a million miles off. Also, Ancient Beetlemon still reserves electrical elements. Its Digimon reference book listing says it has the ability to generate a special magnetic field with ultra high voltage electric current. And given that Zudomon, Ikkakumon's normal reliability Crest evolution, also has connection to lightning, electricity, and thunder, that's a good merging, in my opinion, of the Beetle knowledge side and the Ikkakumon body. Then for the Crest of Hope, how do we combine the Crest of Hope elements with Ikkakumon? Well, it's actually the reason I did this video before Kabuterimon. Because recently for Digimon Liberated, Liberator, they revealed new evolutions for Sangomon and Shellmon in Marine Bullmon and Ryugumon. Marine Bullmon, while technically its own Digimon, by name at least, is made to be a marine variant of Bullmon, just like Marine Devimon is a variant of Devimon and Marine Angemon is a variant of Angemon. Well, actually, it's kind of not, but doesn't matter. And wouldn't you know it, Bullmon is a Hope Armor Digivolution. It gets its power from the Crest of Hope, which means Ikkakumon gets to become this aquatic Digimon whose namesake, Bullmon, is a Hope Armor. There is hope combined with aquatic elements, and it even has horns, splitting the one horn of Ikkakumon into two. That evolution then continues into Ryugumon, which feels very serene and godly. It's a guardian deity, and the Crest of Hope is very tied to mythology, angels, godlike beings, so Ryugumon is a perfect fit in my opinion. Plus, Ryugu is the Dragon Palace, and as we talked about before, the other alternate contender for a Patamon Mega, at least in Digimon Adventure 2020's continuity, is God Dramon, the God Dragon, and Ryugumon is a God Dragon. Kind of great. And that finally leaves us with the Crest of Light, and this one I did struggle with. In Adventure, we get more angelic themes, Gatomon becoming Angelwomon and then Magnadramon. In 2020, in other media, we've had Ophanimon too, and when we look at 02, the Crest manifests in Nefertimon, which has a very overt Egyptian theming. So I kind of have two schools of thought here, one that is just like really stupid, but I think kind of funny, and one that is more trying to find a path that visually and thematically works. You can pick which you prefer. The silly one is simply using new Liberator Digimon again, and that is having Ikkakumon become Polar Bearmon and Scadimon. Because, of course, Polar Bearmon and Scadimon are evolutions for Frigimon, adding some ice elements into there, and you know, the snow reflects light, it's a very pure type of weather, but also because if we look at that eventual transformed Frigimon to Polar Bearmon to Scadimon head, it resembles incredibly Yukimi Bottomon, Snow Bottomon, which is actually most commonly used as Gatomon's fresh form in Digimon Adventure media or side media. It's a super random connection, and this is why I say it's not really like an amazing pick, but I do think it's kind of fun, and that Yukimi Bottomon connection would make it a little bit more valid in my opinion. Polar Bearmon and Scadimon are not related to light or angels or anything like that, but there is something kind of hopeful and light about them. When I see them, the Ice Snow Digimon, I think of Christmas, the light of the world, and things like that you associate with happiness. So again, kind of random, but I do like this evolution. However, another one I kind of like is Ikkakumon becoming Manticoremon with the Crest of Light. While it is a ferocious demon beast Digimon, it's associated actually with Angel Digimon, employed by other Angel Digimon, though it cannot be controlled, which I think is kind of interesting. And even though it isn't an overtly aquatic Digimon, it looks a little bit more aquatic than other options we have. Also, it's kind of meant to be an inverse to Gargoylemon, which is a light armor evolution for Vmon. We have concept art of Manticoremon that depicts it connected to Gargoylemon, so there is that connection to the Crest of Light there. Plus, its very overt blues and whites would set us up nicely to have the Mega be /Angemon. A bit of a weird one here. I would probably actually use this for a Hope evolution if Ryugumon wasn't such a good pick, but given that Hope and Light are very similar crests, very linked together, resulting in forms like Angelwomon and Magna Angemon, /Angemon would be fun here. Good evolution for Manticoremon, and it's still an Angemon variant, much like Angelwomon is, so we can still kind of associate that with the Crest of Light, and it would tie us back to the fact that the Crest of Reliability, Ikkakumon's power, was one of the powers associated with Ankylamon and Armadillomon, and Ankylamon and Angemon become Shakuamon, and /Angemon is a very commonly used Shakuamon evolution in things like the card game. I am going to 100% acknowledge that that is a much better Hope pick than it is a Light pick, but I cannot pass up on the Marine Bullmon Ryugumon connection, so I'm personally sliding with the Polar Bearmon Scadimon connection of Yukimi Bottomon and the whole lightness of snow and Christmas vibes. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I'm sure there's something there that you could really make work, whether it's with the Digimon reference book or some visual connections. That's the fun of these videos. I get to present my ideas, they're not objective, and then you get to present yours. Thank you again to Warhammer 40,000 Tacticus for sponsoring today's video, and to my sovereigns on patreon.com/Karn EX, DDK14 and Ranma Greyfire. Thank you all so much. Thank you to all my other patrons and my channel members who hold it down here on YouTube, and I will see you next time when we go digital. Bye bye.